How are you doing today, Professor?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am doing really, really nice. I'm chilling out here after a long day, especially considering that my second shot of Moderna kicked in, and I felt every single side effect that I could imagine. It took me like, 8 minutes, like 8 a.m. I woke up at 8 a.m. It took me like 1 in the afternoon to actually finally get up because I was feeling every single side effect imaginable. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about randomizer, Alliance of the Past randomizer. And today we have ourselves a grudge match between Malmo and Krelbel. We're showing off what we call hybrid major glitches, but with some extra rules attached to it.
Yeah, that's correct. So basically, hybrid major glitches, if you're not familiar with the mode, if you've seen any of the previous Go Mode podcasts, Overworld Glitches matches, we just completed the Overworld Glitches Mentor Tournament. Hybrid major glitches is similar to that, but there are 4 additional clips basically that come into play, and we'll explain those as they come through. And then for the mode, you see 7 crystal and pedestal pull. The reason beyond that is just that some of those underworld clips are for specific dungeons, to travel between specific dungeons or get into specific dungeons more easily. And so they had agreed to do the pedestal pull as well, just to guarantee that we can see all those clips and really show them off. If you are at all familiar with some of the restricted major glitches speedrun of the vanilla game, the RMG, which I believe has been shown off at a number of marathons in the past, that is something that is basically the same rule set as what we're going to see here, though of course they'll be visiting the dungeons in different order since this is a randomizer.
Yeah, and all 4 of those clips have logical implications to them. So to do a cursory glance on them, and again we'll explain what that is. We'll explain each one of these as we come up to them. A cursory glance on what the types of glitches that we're going to be seeing is Kiki Skip, Myra to Hera clip, Hera to Swamp clip, and the Ice Palace lobby clip. So there's some bit more background information on the custom rule sets too. As Arusta had explained, we are required to kill the crystal bosses themselves, not by any means of any weird tricks that we're going to be talking about in a bit. And this is a big requirement. We have to pull the pedestal no matter what. So in that case, we're handling all dungeons minus Aga Tower. It's still to begin, but it's not. But we don't have to worry if we can avoid it. Obviously, we can avoid Aga Tower entirely.
Exactly, and we are about to get started here. They're going to get started pretty much right at 9 o'clock Eastern, so in about a minute or less, you can see they've both gone. Malmo will be on the left using the astronaut sprite, and then Krelbel is on the right using he is using a sprite shuffler, so the head is actually different than the normal.
Yeah, this is one of Krelbel's inventions that he worked on. This is a sprite shuffler that creates what he calls Frankenlink, which means it can be any sprite, any head and body sprite at any given time. It can literally be any one of the main sprites, or if he wants to do even more crazy stuff, he could also just shuffle all the head and body. I think just a head and body textures or sprites. I think it's just a head though. So it makes it look really, really weird. So it looks like there's some weird voodoo things going on.
And we will be getting started. Absolutely, and looks like we will be getting started in just a second here. In case you're not familiar, the reason these 2 runners are doing this is our grudge match, and effectively it's because Malmo and Krelbel have played this mode quite a bit against each other and usually have matched up very, very well. I believe the last time they were within 2 or 3 seconds. So this should be a very hype match.
We start things off with a powder in Link's house, and it looks like both of our runners are going to go and look at the Hylia Island. It's just a blue mail, and we're going to see one of two starts here. Looks like we are going to be seeing Malmo and Krelbel doing what we call a boots clip and a teleport. So we're going to get that blue mail here. And it looks like Malmo did screw up a bit, so we'll have to save and quit. That's a soft lock. So what we saw here was what we called a teleport and a boots clip. So this by buffering inputs above the boots, we can clip into these diagonal walls, and what we're looking for is specific bumps in the diagonal walls. We call these bumps because they're like the weird bumpy kind of textures. We're looking at like the shadow of them, and Krelbel's doing one of these clips right now to get to Hobo really, really quickly. It's one of his favorite openers.
Ooh, and Malmo just doing a save and quit and getting a shovel from the sanctuary. That's an interesting fetch quest to find early.
Indeed. So, and to reiterate, to get back to what I was saying, with boots clips, we can do a number of things like dumb jumps, and what we saw earlier was teleports. By looking at the shadow of Link's sprite, also map check, we have pendants at Eastern and Desert. I did not see what Hera was.
Hera was a red crystal.
Okay.
And so just to clarify, sorry to interrupt your explanation for just a sec. In case you missed the very intro, they will be getting all 7 crystals, and they have to pull the peds. So we'll be seeing those dungeons. Continue.
We pick up a flute, which in this mode is not really necessary. I think that was a cape that was also on Lumberjack Ledge. But the flute isn't really that isn't really that powerful like it is in No Glitches. But mainly it's more of a handy utility fast travel item like it is normally. But it can also be used to get yourself out of failed light world glitches. And we also have our red mail on this mushroom. And Malmo is not going to pick it up though. So to get back on the teleports, based on if you look at the shadow of Link's, and this really depends on what part of the shadow, like what side of the shadow you're looking on. If you see 1 pixel of the shadow and you buffer, it's a down right input or down left depending on where you're on the wall. You'll do what's called an up teleport. And if there's no shadow, and it lines up flush with the 2 pixels that are on the 2 vertical pixels that are lined up on the bump, that is a down teleport. And what Malmo did was what we call Dev Mountain Ascent, or DMA for short. What she did was the boots clipped version of new DMA, which is a lot faster and safer method of getting up to Death Mountain. In previous versions of Death Mountain Ascent, if you did not move the camera down enough, you have a really, really slow transition. I think up to like 5 minutes, somewhere around there. But this version of DMA is safer because we can actually get into Old Man Cave from the intended front side, not the back side.
And what Malmo is showing off now is going to clip down to Graveyard Ledge. This is one of the nice things about overworld glitches and hybrid major glitches is you can make this check very, very easily, as opposed to the normal no major glitches where it's very out of the way.
And it also lines up. It also sets up for a Houlihan because it causes the error in Link's Y coordinate, which is necessary to pull off DMA. Or sorry, Houlihan. And by doing this method, she's able to get bombs really quickly. So we're gonna see that right away. So she's gonna hop into the drop down here for the ferry, and she will get 225 rupees because, like I said, it does cause the error in the Link's Y coordinate, which takes us to the Houlihan room because the game doesn't know where to put us when we do a drop down.
Yep. Meanwhile, as Krelbel goes through Blind's hut, just found the blue cane and not much else.
I'm actually seeing these two different philosophies here with the openings. We get a bow out of the well of Kakariko. In Malmo's case, she ended up just going for what we call the graveyard rush, while Krelbel went into Kakariko. Typically, Kakariko isn't as powerful as it is normally, at least from what I've heard, at least from what I remember. Because you don't typically find a whole lot like the same way you would do in like Kakariko. Also, that's a fire rod for the sunken treasure. Krelbel not wasting any time activating that flute.
Yeah, as you said, flute is a little less valuable, or significantly less valuable, really, in this mode than in a normal mode. But when you get it this early, even just if Krelbel wants to do some of these South Shore checks that Malmo does, that flute's going to save enough time to make up for it.
Right, you are. So, also get the single arrow from out of the chicken hut. Moldarm Cave picking up the blue boomerang from off of the NPC, and nothing else to report on other than a heart container. Okay, so Krelbel is going to do this clip that lets us do the magic bat really quickly. So we do a weird transition because I think we hit the transition like right on the nose, because what we did was we partially clipped through using our boots clip technique, and we decided to also Malmo just clipped into Ice Rock Cave about needing to bomb the wall because that's also a setup there. Also gets Ether Medallion from it. So by doing a partial boots clip and then dashing and then holding right, as soon as you land, you do a transition, and then you just do an up, right, up, and then you land onto where you land just before the drop down to the magic bat, and we can get magic bat without without the hammer.
Yep, and meanwhile, Malmo is doing the Zora checks using a setup which you normally see even in regular no major glitches, where you use the boost coming out of Ice Rod Cave so you get this water walk.
Krelbel picks up the Cane of Samari from off of the race game, and we actually got the item right away because we could do a clip from this position that also lets us do Desert Palace without even a book or mirror. Book, mirror, and mitts, somewhere, like that, and flute. But the change up to that transition is that you actually have to dash left, or dash to the right rather, and then fire it off. But you have to be very careful with your movements, otherwise you get soft locked on the stump and you have to either save a quit or flute away.
Yep. Meanwhile, Krelbel going through desert, found one of the items, just a piece of heart. but could be able to potentially keep pushing this, hopefully find something here. Meanwhile, Malmo is going up to the mountain. Probably going to see maybe a dip into Hera here with that fire rod, since you can do the basement and guarantee you can at least clear your way through. Does not have a weapon yet, but hopefully he'll find one here.
Yeah, so we actually just boots clipped into Hera. There's another setup for this too, which involves sprint speed, but because we have no sword, our only option is to do the boots clip method, which is actually on the same side that you would do the Graveyard Ledge clip, and also by extension the King's Tomb clip. Now, what Orange had told me when I was doing the Mentor tournament was the clip, also there's quick on K45, the King's Tomb clip it's essentially the Aegina's Cave of glitch modes. But in one case, you actually have to unlike Aegina's Cave, you have to save quit out. Also, there's our first sword off of the dig spot.
Malmo showing us off the winners. Congratulations to Glenn and Christos Owen.
Yeah, there's this sign that was placed in the randomizer, and this shows the winners of the overall glitches tournament up until that point. And if you did this in no glitches, it would say, how did you get up here? And it does, and this sign does not appear in vanilla. It's specifically added for the randomizer.
So Malmo showing off the nice thing, even just like a minor clip like that, where you just clip through a ledge much faster than walking all the way around. There are all sorts of minor time saves you can do in this mode, and overworld glitches in general, just to sort of cut down on walking around.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having overworld glitches, is that you can do things that normally you're not allowed to do in no glitches. And we got our Moon Pearl. That's actually our Dark World access, because we can do clips. We can actually get into the Dark World without any of the normal things you would need for Dark World access in the vanilla game or in the regular randomizer, like just hammer gloves Moon Pearl or Mist Moon Pearl. And we do this by what we call Death Mountain Descent, or DMD. Also, there's a hookshot and hammer. Pretty nice mini Moldorm cave, or excuse me, Paradox Cave.
Yeah, that's a loaded Paradox Cave. I mean, really, at this point, if you combine both runners, we're going to need Ice Rod somewhere and Second Sword, and what else? Well, maybe Mir, depending on where things are.
So what Memel did was something called Witch DMD. I don't normally do this, but it's really handy. And then we also did this. We also saw Malmo do from the Witch over to Eastern Palace, because that's another clip you can really do. And we get information that Green Pendant is on Swamp Palace. Okay, so Krelbel is gonna do the checks over here in over here in the Zora area. Now normally when you do things like fake flippers or water walks in no glitches, it's actually considered out of logic. But here in glitch modes, this actually is considered in logic.
Yeah, we already know, unfortunately, it's just going to be some money. And since we're seeing some repeat checks and we're about 15 minutes in, just a real quick update for anyone who joined late. This is the Go Mode podcast. This is hybrid major glitches, which is similar to overworld glitches, but it's got 4 additional clips added in that you can do in the underworld, which we'll be seeing, because the mode here is you have to clear all 7 crystals and kill all the crystal bosses. Though you can potentially dupe a crystal if you'd like, but you still need to kill the boss that holds it. And then they will also be doing a ped pull, and that's purely since they can guarantee that we actually get to see the clips, since part of this is a grudge match, but it's also partially to show off the mode.
Correct. So even if the ped has nothing, we are expected to pull it. We're expected to pull the ped regardless. Basically, how I like to describe hybrid major glitches is it's overworld glitches, but with some spice to it. Malmo is going to activate the flute. Well, Krelbel is up on the mountain. We're going to see Okay, so we're actually gonna see what Orange had told me is the Agina's Cave of glitch modes. This is the clip for King's Tomb, and it was worth it. That was a Master Sword.
Yeah, and Krelbel going straight back to the mountain. Probably going to see the Hera clip here, and then probably going to do what we just saw Malmo do a couple minutes ago. Clear as much of Hera as you can, and then go to over to Paradox, where Krelbel will be very happy to find all those items.
Yeah. So the thing is with this is, so one thing I failed to mention when it came to that clip that I talked about, which was the Agina's Cave, or excuse me, the King's Tomb clip, is that it's basically the same. It's the same clip as the Graveyard Ledge clip, but instead of just hopping down, you buffer one sword frame, or you sword buffer one frame, not one pixel, because frame, what we mean by frame is that Link moves in a average of 1.5 pixels. It's 1 pixel, then 2, then it keeps repeating. So when we say frame, then it means that we don't care about the position of Link. We don't care about the pixels of Link. We just care about having to move just that slight bit of that one tinge of frame, like 1 frame tinge, to just so we can dash over. And then once we dash over to the right, we do up, left, down, or up, down, left, whichever. Doesn't really matter, so as long as I think the first input is up. And then you just grab the rock like normal, and then you just go in, just go into where King's Tomb is, and then just get your item there.
Yeah, and one other thing to point out, just in case anyone was wondering, even though Krelbel went into Hera with pretty much what he'd need to clear it, if he was willing to do the basement for the key, we are not going to see that here, because there is a clip we will see later which actually allows you to clip into Hera, and that's actually part of this mode. Part of the hybrid major glitches allows you to get to the upper part of Hera without even needing the big key, teleporting from another dungeon. And we will be seeing that, I believe, from both runners, I would expect.
So at this point, we're crossing over each other's footsteps, but eventually we will be seeing the Dark World. And again, we can do it. We can do this in a multitude of different ways. We can find there's a lot of ways to do Death Mountain Descent. I think we may be seeing that coming up from for Krelbel here, since he attempted the bomb jump but fell down. Didn't want to waste any more time, so just went through the ran out the front door and went back to the bottom, which is actually the top because Paradox Cave is a thing. And we're going to see we're going to see this another down teleport here for Krelbel, which lets us get on top of the Turtle Rock hammer puzzle. And our required medallion for Turtle Rock is Quake, but we don't really care about the medallion for Quake. We don't care we don't care about the medallion for Turtle Rock because
right,
we can actually
there is a clip to get into it. Yep. Yeah. And we will definitely be seeing that. We haven't seen the map check yet, but since we do know it is a pendant, or excuse me, we do know it is a crystal, we will be seeing all that part of Turtle Rock, and we will be getting there. Also, shout outs to Dante. Thank you for joining with your raiding party. Since we have some new people here, this is the Hybrid Major Glitches. This is a match between Malmo and Krelbel. They are both very good runners. They've previously run this mode quite a bit, and I believe in their last race they were either 1 or 2 seconds apart, so we are expecting a very tight race here. My name is Arusta. My co-commentator today is Professor Renderer. otherTom is doing our tracking, and shout outs to Cinaeth, who's helping us do the restream.
So what we just saw was Krelbel got into the hookshot cave by doing a different clip. We did a dumb jump, or basically just you keep boots clipping until the game throws you. Also, we're now in GT for Malmo's side because there is also another clip that lets us get into GT. Flippers on hookshot cave. We can clear this. We can pretty much full clear everything. Malmo is going to do the right side. The general rule of thumb when it comes to GT is that if you get one item, as long as you get one, like the necessary items, you have to do the whole thing. If you get the cane, just go all the way through to the go all the way through. Get the hammer, go hammer hook shot, go all the way through. Stuff like that. Also, Krelbel is over on Catfish because this is what we call Catfish DMD. So which lets us get over to Catfish because it shares the same positioning as the same position on the map as where the bottom of, or at least the top of Turtle Rock is. I think so. I don't remember the details for that. No, it can't be because it would have to be all the way down the bottom. I forget how that, what the reason and why the Catfish DMD is a thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Krelbel is going to show off our basically uses hookshot to show off the Harapot. This is something, of course, that's common even in regular race settings.
That was a very well done spin speed version of the Harapot. There's a multitude of different ways of doing the Harapot. So as long as you have the hook shots and you're in Hera, then we can clear this just fine. Alright, fighting off Molder now. And there's our third sword up in the firebar room.
Yeah, and that's actually very good for Malmo, because as some people pointed out in chat, I believe it was Orange pointed out in chat, who's also very experienced in this community, Malmo may or may not get over to do that King's Tomb clip for a while, so having that second sword is probably a big weight off her mind, because it means she can kill Ganon even if she doesn't find one.
And Krelbel has taken out Moldarm, striking first blood. and Krelbel is going to head over to. He's going to start by doing one of the many DMDs. Also, we have an ice rod in Rando Room. This is what I like to consider the quicker version of DMD. It's kind of risky because there is a possibility to hardlock if you don't have the right position for it, or because the only way to correct that is if you bunked up, because if you don't bunk up and then you try to go down, then you cause a hard lock, because the game is trying to put you on a trying to transition you to a spot that it doesn't know where to go, so it just tries to do it over and over and over and over again, and it still doesn't know where to go. And you don't have any inputs. You can't save quit or anything. You actually have to reset the console when that happens. Half magic in the big key chest. Very nice. And there's still no big key. So we're gonna have to see. It looks like it was. I believe it actually was.
It's on the right side in those 4 chests, because when Malmo went through, there was not a key in Hope Room, so she did not get the chance to check that.
Okay, yeah, the compass room.
Correct.
Which is perfectly fine here. So we're going to see the right side now. Of course, this is just the regular fire rod method. No crazy bomb jumps necessary to use with just the lamp, which I can't pull off. It's stupid hard to set up. It's also very, very obnoxious, because not only do you have the shooter, but also the wall master bugging you when you're trying to set it up, and I could never get it to work.
Yep. Meanwhile, Krelbel going through Skull Woods and pretty much the way you'd normally expect. And Malmo doing the good thing here, still picking up the small key. It is worth noting that she does not have mirror, so basically, unless she wanted to death warp all the way from 7.5 hearts, has no choice but to go all the way back near the big chest area.
And even then, death warping is actually not a good idea either way. It may be handy, but it actually but it comes at a cost. And that cost is in the form of what we call fake dark world, where if you die, then when there is a state where you did not kill Aga, quote unquote, either through going up the tower or I think getting all your necessary dark world access, then it tries to bring your world state back to the light world, but you're still in the dark world. But you're still within the dark world. So then that causes all sorts of weirdness to happen. Yeah, so if Egoan is still alive and you die in the dark world, that's what I meant. So you basically get a fake dark world in that case. So, and the only way to fix that is if you have the mirror, you just mirror back. You just mirror out. You just mirror again, and then you should be back in the dark world. If it doesn't work, then you can just mirror again, and you'll be back in the dark world. Nice dash from Malmo to get through that room.
Yeah, and a very nice use of the quick swap there to be able to pull out the blue cane without losing any time.
Oh, actually, it's Bleeby's pointing out, it still happens even if you it still happens even if Agumon is still dead, because you need to have the mirror out. You still need to have the mirror for the state to be proper. Also, while we were talking about this, Krelbel had already finished up Mafia. That would be his second crystal. So Malmo is climbing up GT. She's currently on land mode 2, and this makes some sense because she went for a pretty early play up to GT, considering that the cane, hook shots, and hammer all appeared at the relatively early. So her decision to go into GT is perfectly reasonable, because you can do the entirety of GT, and there's our first glove.
Yeah, unfortunately for Malmo, these land modes are being kind of trolly right now. And the other thing, land modes have a weird damage table where the Master Sword is not as helpful as you might think. So as pointed out in chat, with half magic, it really makes sense to use Fire Rod there. It saves a bunch of time because Fire Rod kills them in, I believe, 2 shots. Whereas, I mean, we just saw how long it takes if you try to use just sword slashes.
2 shots, correct, from the Fire Rod. And in general, the Lambo fight is very obnoxious to deal with. It's a very obnoxious fight in the NMG speed run to begin with. Even if you have it all mastered down, it's still very, very annoying to deal with. I believe Malmo still has plenty of time for this. Okay, she doesn't think she has enough time. Okay, so the reason why she's waiting there is that if you go up the stairs as soon as the door jingle, the door jingle is playing, it despawns all the sprites in GT, and you actually have to do a complete reset to actually the mirror out in order to get all the sprites back. This includes Boulder 2, and if you know how to hover, and you think that you're safe, but no, Aga 2 is also considered a sprite and will not show up.
Yeah, and it's especially worrisome for Malmo right now since she doesn't have mirror. Basically, she'd have to just eat a save and quit.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable to stop there. If you feel like you don't have enough time, it's always just best to just wait it out without instead of just risking a potential jingle glitch.
Yeah, the other thing you can do is there are those 2 pots on the north side of that room. One of them actually has a full magic, the other has a heart. So if you're worried about timing, if you go up and get those, you will almost always, that takes enough time that you're not going to trigger the glitch. So that's another way to use your time productively if you're worried about the timing there.
So there really wasn't anything to note as far. Well, we actually did get a sword. We did get a sword, but that and half magic. But that really is it for GT. There really, outside of those, there really wasn't a whole lot of. Or no, the ice rod.
Ice rod as well. Yes.
Yeah. I completely forgot about the ice rod. So yeah, not a bad play. It's progression. And because of that, actually, typically when it comes to GT, usually can have progression because you can just clip in, and I typically like to treat it as if it's like a 0 crystal GT where literally anything could be in GT if you play reduced crystals or 0 crystal GT entry.
Yeah, not only can anything be in there, the logic actually can assume that you do that early as soon as you can get there. So, even though it didn't end up being, it was three useful items, but not a ton, it's still something that makes sense for Malmo to do this early, just because, you get it out of the way. 27 checks all at once is a very dense area, pretty much the most dense area in the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, I would not be surprised after Malmo finishes up, we could see Malmo possibly go into Turtle Rock. I mean, Turtle Rock is probably would be the next play that I would make after Pod. Because if I was doing GT and if I did GT, finished it up, and I got my Ice Rod, I'd do Pod next. Of course, I would do Hive Game first of all, but then like on all those it says hit checks. But then afterwards, I probably wouldn't mind going to I wouldn't mind going over to Pod, getting that taken care of, and then after that, I probably would be heading over to Turtle Rock.
Looks like Malmo, based on where she's clipping through, looks like she's probably heading to Mire right now.
Yeah, this actually makes more sense in this case because we can actually get to Swamp from this way because we're going to be demonstrating the two clips that we mentioned and that Hybrid Major Glitch expects you to know, and which is Hera to Mire and Mire to Hera, or Mire to Hera and Hera to Swamp clips. Also, if you are sensitive, look away now because when Malmo goes into Mire from that position, the game just doesn't load up the rain properly, and the only way you have to fix it is you go to it's either you enter a dungeon mirror or enter any like cave or whatever mirror or use your map. That way it will load the rain properly. But I believe the medallion. I don't think she has a medallion. I think that was Bombos.
Yeah, it was Bombos, which is why she's not heading in there.
Yeah, that's fine. So we won't see. So we're not going to be seeing Mire just yet, but when we do, we will be talking about the two clips here. We're getting simultaneous dig games, a bit of a high five from both of our runners, and the silver arrows in 5 digs. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna do the same clip as the same clips here. This is actually the Village of Outcasts clip. But actually, no. Malmo's actually gonna be doing Village of Outcasts clip. But Krelbel's gonna be heading to to Mire in this case. He's gonna find out the information that Bombos is required for Mire, and this is the one that we actually care about because if Mire is a crystal, then we actually have to consider medallions. And again, like we mentioned before, that Turtle Rock medallion does not matter because we can just clip into Turtle Rock. There's a lot of ways we can clip into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, but Mire, they will have to find Bombos to get in, because in this mode, the only way to get into Mire within the rule set is through blasting open the door with Bombos.
So I guess as we approach the when we come to that point, well, I guess I can give a bit of filler as to what those two clips are. So, Mire to Hera clip is a clip that you can basically let's just go to Hera from the second room of the torch room, and it only works if you have the wall moved. It doesn't work either way for whatever reason. And then afterwards after that we can do Hera to Swamp clip, which takes us to where the first water switch is. And the reason why is because on the EG map or exploration glitch map, the spots where Mire and Hera are directly below, like where the bottom of the cutscene chest, like a torch room, and the ferry that you see in Herapot, the ferry room you see in Herapot, is actually directly below, directly next to each other.
Yeah, that's correct. If you look at some of the maps available online, you can actually see how the underworld is laid out. aka all the dungeons and caves, and they are basically all on the same map, just some of them are adjacent to others. And as our restreamer Cinaeth points out in chat, the reason the cutscene in Mire needs to be played is just because it's on the same super tile, and so if you try to do that clip without playing the cutscene, it goes all wonky because the super tile isn't what it expects to see. Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, that's exactly that I believe is right. I don't know about the Plaid World / VRAM corruption part is true, but you actually need to pull this, because if you don't, then weird stuff happens. But to add on further to this, and the same thing applies to it when we did the Hera swamp, like the Hera the swamp one, because the first water switch and the bottom of the petting zoo is adjacent to each other, much like the same way as the cutscene room. So as we're leading up to this too, since we have to pull the ped, so what we might be seeing coming up from these runners is something that we do with the Can Samaria. Now, for a lack of a better term, the Can Samaria in this game is extremely broken, very, very broken. It lets us do all sorts of crazy things with well, there's a multitude of different glitches. Icebreaker is one example, but it lets us do more than just that. We might be seeing door glitches with the Can Samaria. And we'll talk about those when we get to them, because this actually becomes borderline, like gets borderline insane. So, as Spleepy is mentioning in the chat, is that if you moving the wall, if you move the wall, it's having your last super tile transition be a fading one, like if you go upstairs, that causes stuff like the VRAM Lamo fight. This is actually in reference to what Cinaeth was saying about the VRAM Lamo being the thing. And when we say VRAM like that, we're talking about corruption of the VRAM sector, which causes things to go completely haywire.
Yeah, and just to toss in a quick correction there, my understanding is the Samaria door glitch, I'm just looking at the hybrid major glitches, that is actually not included in this mode. It is in no logic seats. So we will probably not be seeing Samaria door glitches in this one.
Yeah, that's true. Got a little bit ahead of myself, but this is what you can do. If you're playing no logic, we can in fact do this. I was more referring to the way that we can do pendants.
Yeah, for those of you who are new to this mode, there is a very good description, and there's a parenthesis or a exclamation HMG, which basically explains this, but the short version is, if you saw the overworld glitches a few weeks ago, it is that plus 4 specific clips. Yep, thank you, Cinaeth. There's also a upcoming hybrid major glitches tournament, which has a detailed description of what's allowed, what's required by logic, what's not. So I think if you're interested, the Go Mode podcast in one of the glitch-related channels, I believe Malmo has posted all the rules for that, so you can see exactly what glitches are allowed and what aren't.
But what I'm going to basically summarize, even if we're not going to be seeing door glitches in HMG, is that the Can Samaria in this game is very, very broken. It's probably the most glitchiest equipment item in the entire game, or the most glitchiest inventory item in the game. That's why some people like to call it the glitch stick, because you can literally do all sorts of wild glitches. It's like a 2-inch brush if you do Bob Ross paintings. You can do crazy. You can do a lot of unbelievable effects with 2-inch brushes and painting knives too. I've been on a Bob Ross kick as of late, so I may be a little bit biased on that.
And so, interestingly, so Krelbel went through the Ganon's Tower in pretty much the exact same way Malmo did, so no real time gain or loss there relative to each other. Meanwhile, Malmo just got her second crystal, so she is on the board.
Alright, Krelbel is going to start his climb, while Malmo is on her way out of Skullwoods. So, in terms of go mode, we will have to... We won't need... we might not need a mirror, because Green Pan Swamp. But we also... you know, even though we can also, actually, we don't even need the mirror period for this because, or the mirror is for this, like for Swamp, because of the way that we can. Because one thing that we can do is when we get a Swamp, we can actually preserve the state of the dam, and that lets us get to Swamp without the need to drain the Swamp, and by extension, using the mirror.
Yeah. Correct, and it is a green pendant, but they did agree to do it. As we mentioned, they have there's ped pull as part of this specifically because they wanted to show off these clips for this exhibition / grudge match. So really, what we need the bombos to get into Mire, and we will need Malmo will need flippers, though Krelbel has them, of course.
Yeah. And then at this point, really, our go mode, like the go mode in this case, is just bombos.
Yep, though we do know that Krelbel won't find him here in Ganon's Tower, so that is still an open question as to where Bombos is hiding.
And there's a lot of places that we can actually check alone, just from us. We know that the cape we know that we're not gonna get the cape in the seed because that was on top of Lumberjack Ledge. But it doesn't really matter because we could just clip over to the bumper ledge and just get it that way. But I believe it wasn't anything non-bumper ledge, so it doesn't matter.
There wasn't.
Okay.
Bumper ledge was, I believe, like 20 rupees, maybe? Big 20?
Yeah, just junk. Yeah, basically just junk. So what I may see from Malmo is, not just also clearing Hera. That's one thing. The other thing I want to see from her is Turtle Rock, because we can actually get a Turtle Rock this way. Doing a Hera pot here. This is the Drakara setup. This is my preferred setup of choice, even if it takes quite a while to set up to get it just right.
Yeah, I think she was 1 pixel off. Needed to be 1 pixel further to the right there.
I think it was just a couple, like 2 more pixels ahead. somewhere around there.
Yeah, because if you're going the way she's doing it, basically you want the very edge of you want to see basically the very, very edge of the chest only. Yeah, and as Brahmin Meat is pointing out, very nice name, by the way, pointing out in chat, Mirror, even though it's not hard required, would be very nice to find since they do have to do both Pod and Eastern. So that Pod Eastern combo, Mirror saves you a bunch of time there, being able to do that easily.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's fair. It's convenient to have the mirror in this case. So, I want to see. So, again, I want to see Malmo do is. I want to see her get the. I want to see her get the. Going to the Turtle Rock. And I say this because and I state this because I want her to do the mirrorless Turtle Rock rap. Just the scream after mirrorless Turtle Rock.
Well, it looks like she is setting up to clip in that way.
Yeah, this one is actually very complex. This one's a fairly complex, and there's a lot of ways to screw it up. A lot of ways to screw it up. What she's gonna do is, well, first of all, she's gonna go ahead and check out Hookshot Cave. She will get the flippers here. Also, Super Bunny Cave, but we know there's nothing there. But what's important is that Malmo will get the flippers. And also the lamp too. Just saying.
Yeah, which isn't hard required. You know, I know both these runners are definitely good enough. They're completely fine with Dark Mire, but it does save you time even if you're good at it.
Krelbel is swimming across the boat to get to Hammer Pegs. This is Mitzless Hammer Pegs. There's the flippers for Malmo. And just bombs. Okay. Okay, so it looks like Malmo is going to head over to Catfish, which it's not okay. It's not the worst thing. It's not terrible. Though to be at least from doing this way, she can just keep going down from this way, and then she can head over to Pod from this position, because she's gonna do the dark world version of the Witch to Eastern Palace clip. She's actually gonna start from this position, because I believe it's safer that way. It's also slightly quicker. Actually, it is pretty quick because you actually be right where Kiki's at. Just need to walk back and pick him up.
Yeah, and one thing to note, since Malmo didn't show it off because the way she's entering, and we'll see if Krelbel does, one of the glitches that's actually allowed in this mode allows you to, it's called Kiki Skip. Basically, you can teleport straight into Pod. So, yeah, few people in chat are shaking their heads at Malmo for paying Kiki when you don't have to in this mode, but coming from the way she did, you kind of have to. But it's a very interesting clip, and hopefully Krelbel routes it a little differently so we can see that glitch in this setting.
And Kiki Skip, it looks like we're seeing it right now. So Kiki Skip is showing up in the RMG speedrun. This is basically the same way that's the same thing that the Mire, Hera, and Hera the Swamp clips work. It's it's basically the bottom of this cave here is adjacent to the shooter room and pod. And
Yep,
if you do it this way, then and you open up if you open it up this way, if you do it this way, you're free to open up the door here in pod because we're in what we call cave state, which means you actually have 225 keys, and you're burning one. That brings us to 224, and you basically get to do pod without having to worry about the bow, the keys being bow locked.
Yeah, and you'll see, and as pointed out in chat by Orange, typically when you see this, runners will open up that middle door just because that guarantees them access to the back, but they won't open up anything else because opening up chests or other things in this mode in that funky cave state can be weird. So you open up that middle door, then you immediately bail out like what Krelbel did. You just turn around and walk right back in.
And then this actually gets used. I believe this method gets used in the RNG speedrun where you open the door in cave state, and then you enter back in. And
Correct.
by doing
that is part of the RMG route.
Yeah, and then by doing this, you actually end up in fake Dark World. So Link's state does not get changed. So you get to do pod without having to go into the Dark World requirements. I believe it's the second dungeon that we do in the RMG speedrun, if not the third or fourth.
Correct. It's the second. You do Eastern Palace, then you do the Kiki skip into pod.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Was making sure that my my preset knowledge from the prac hack was correct. Also, yeah, what we did was the Samaria glitch from Malmo was something we call pod clip. This is a clip that you basically do a stair extension all the way, like you set up the Samaria in a way, and you do essentially the same way that you would do a water walk, but dashing up. And for whatever reason, the Samaria being there, it causes you going the stairs to be like a lot longer than normal. I don't know why it does it like that, but it does. It's also called stair. Some people call it stair launch too.
Yep, and one thing to note is that in Dark Maze, Malmo found the bombos, and Krelbel will soon as well. So that is basically go mode for them. They might still, especially on Malmo's side, since she only has Master Sword, might still check a few chests on the way looking for either mirror or another sword.
Ooh, okay. So this one,
they are technically go mode if they want to push for it.
Okay, so I apologize for a little bit of the interruption there, but Malmo is going to do the flipper wrap to Ice Palace. This is extremely risky. Like this requires specific inputs to hit. If you don't hit the inputs right, then you're gonna hard lock. I've hard locked once doing this before.
Yep, and
it does not feel good.
Nope. Fortunately, Malmo got that, and what you're going to see right here with the bomb is, you remember that first floor and a half of Ice Palace? No need to see it.
Yeah,
that is one of the clips. Yep, that is one of the 4 clips that's added in this mode.
And it basically and we're seeing it. I mean, this is the common theme that we see with these 4 extra clips is that it basically is part of the EG map. That the EG map, the entrance and that room with the red barries is adjacent to each other. Same thing as before. Nice icebreaker from Malmo. So yeah, by doing this, she's able to by doing the Ice Palace lobby, the Ice Palace entrance clip, she's able to get over to that room quicker because of the adjacent spots in the Dark World.
Yep, absolutely.
In the G map, rather.
Absolutely. And you saw Malmo not checking chests along the way, so looks like she is committed to going with what she's got. She did check the icebreaker chest, so maybe she'll check some of the freest ones, but it seems like she's pushing for go mode, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I believe we might see some panda dupes. I don't know. We can't. We are allowed to do panda dupes in this case because we are required to pull the pen regardless.
Yeah, and while we're watching cutscenes on both sides, the interesting thing, just to go back to the way Malmo clipped into ice, is that as you saw, she got in there without needing fire rod or bombo. So it is possible to have your fire sources locked inside Ice Palace.
Oh, they're not dupable in HMG. Okay, fair enough. So we have to go. We basically have to full clear like the normal way anyway. Sucks, but what are you gonna do? But in a perfect world, we can't. If the pendants in this case were dupable, we would see those dupes, but not in this case.
Yeah, just some additional information pointed out in chat from Orange and Spleeby. Effectively, the only pendant you can realistically dupe is Meyer. You could technically do Hera as well, but at that point, you might as well kill Moldorm. So, thank you for the information.
Yeah, ignore me, just because I was really stuck to see panda dupes, but not today, unfortunately. Oh, I see what Malmo's trying to do. I think she's trying to do a bomb clip to get back up to. Okay, yeah, that just to get up on top. That's clever. I know exactly what she's gonna do next. She's gonna go for the beer wrap, the beerless screen wrap for Turtle Rock. That is if Zach
Lionel.
I don't know why I forgot that enemy's name. I should know this because of Enemizer, but there you go. That's the beerless screen wrap.
Yeah, and actually, the other unique thing we got to see there that we normally didn't is that the mirror shield was actually useful because the way she was standing actually held it to block the fireballs.
Yeah. So yeah, but that clip is like that particular clip is very like there's a lot of moving parts to it. A lot of moving parts to it. One wrong move will cause you to get locked, to get soft locked. You could either jump down, or you could either jump down farther than you're expected than what's supposed to happen, or you get stuck in the entrance. There's a lot of things that could happen there, and it all plays into subpixels and all that. It's a very tough trick to explain without going into very technical details. But the short of it is, we're clipping up to the mount. We're clipping into a part of the mountain, and then we're doing a series of hops and various small movements to get to wrap around to where the bridge is at, and we have to quick hop. And if we don't, or if we stutter or don't quick hop, then those problems will arise. I butchered the explanation there, and I apologize if I did. But it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. Malmo seen that the big key was in the normal vanilla location, opts to take a death warp to get straight back over to the laser bridge to get to Cinaeth.
Yep. Meanwhile, Krelbel's going through Eastern and will very shortly have finished up his Eastern pod combo. So really, at this point, it is still a very close race. Krelbel will have done more dungeons numerically, but Malmo will have done Turtle Rock, which is probably longer than any of the others. So it's a very close race and still anybody's game at this point.
Though to be fair, the big key was relatively early on because and it could be on Crystal Roll Room or Laser Bridge because you need the big key for that back anyway. Although Malmo is in a bit of trouble right now. I think she's actually in Oko mode, or well, close enough. Now she's in Oko mode. Does not want to take a death here, especially considering too that the ice head has been ouch.
Though the one nice thing about playing this mode is you're opening up the back exit just because that's how you got into Turtle Rock. And she doesn't have any bottles, but does have the powder to fill up on health there through the ferry.
Yeah, that was a really rough first fight for Malmo. Krelbel's MSU is actually the MSU Shuffler, I believe. Since we don't have audio here in the booth, or game audio in the booth, I believe he's actually using the live shuffler that he added in. And I remember hearing about this the first time, like a live shuffler. And then as soon as I downloaded the newest version of the shuffler, I have not looked back since. I've been using it all the time, not only with my 3 MSUs that I made, soon to be 4 if I make my Persona Mix MSU, but all the MSUs I've downloaded since then.
Yeah, and I like the decision here by Malmo to switch over to, after getting those first couple hits on the fire head, going over to the ice head, just to avoid what happened last time where the ice head just spit everywhere and made the floor a mess.
Yeah, this is typically what I like to do is I start with the first round of, if I'm doing this on a Master Sword fight, I'd first start by doing the ice. I'd be doing the firehead for the first 3 hits, and then I would go ahead and focus my energy on the ice head, no matter what. That is a Tridex clear for Malmo. She will get her next crystal. This will be her 5th. And Krelbel will find out about the good news about the big key being really, really early.
Yeah, and in case anyone missed it, since they both already dipped pod, Malmo's retrip to pod will be fairly quick. And then when she ends up going to Eastern, the Eastern Palace big key was, I believe, in the second chest, the one you can hook shot over to. So both of those will be fairly quick for Malmo to get through.
Oh, for sure. And of course, by then we're going to be, of course, seeing Meyer. This will be her 6th crystal clear. I expect the next thing that she's gonna do. It would be nice if the mirror shows up in Meyer, so that's for convenience sake, so that we can get the desert, and then we can get back to desert, and then we can get over to, and then of course we can get to go back to Mire, do the clips that we mentioned, and then go to finish up Swamp, and then it's Pod Eastern, flute over to 3 to get to the pet pole, and then flute back over to 5 to kill Ganon for Malmo.
Yeah, and so this is where you can see how quickly Krelbel has finished off the first phase of Cinaeth. This is really where that extra sword is paying off.
Malmo has a God Mire on her hands.
Yeah, though, interestingly, in this mode, that's actually not as great as it would normally be, because if she wants to do the clip into Swamp, she actually will probably come straight back in here.
Yeah, that is correct. So, again, if she finds the mirror really early, then if she finds the mirror in Mire, that would be really nice. Of course, she already has set up for Spooky, so she should be okay here. Okay, yeah, she has it. It's caused by setting the altitude variable in a specific way by using with regards to the flute with the duck, and that duck is parallel to what the fire rod splash damage is. It's a very technical glitch that it's hard to explain, but it's basically you set the altitude variable, you preserve the altitude variable by making sure you do like an ice rod or fire rod shot or kicking up dust with the boots, and then place your Samaria because that altitude variable gets resets if you don't do it this way. Just place the Samaria block down.
Yeah, correct. And meanwhile, what Krelbel just showed off was that same clip we saw earlier from Malmo and Ice Palace. That is where Krelbel used the bomb to basically clip through into the wall and skip the first floor and a half or so of ice. That is exclusive to hybrid major glitches. You won't see that in overworld glitches or, of course, in no major glitches. So it's worth pointing out because that's something that's special about this mode. My understanding is it's actually a little easier to set up than it looks like. It does take some practice, but it's something that's pretty easy to pick up once you practice it a little bit.
Yeah, generally with with those dungeon clips, it's as simple as just bonking up against the wall and then setting the bomb in a specific manner. For the cases of the Ice Palace clip and the Mire de Hera clip, is that it's just as simple as bonking down, dash turning to the right, and then throwing your bomb, and then just dashing into the bomb for the bomb clip.
Yeah, meanwhile, Malmo looks like she's going to check a few chests on the way here.
Ooh, in her case, she needs to find another key.
Yeah, good.
Why? Because
good point.
Yeah, the reason why is because you need to carry a key from Mire, because that way she's able to open up the rest of the keys in Swamp, the rest of the locked doors in Swamp. If you're going to be clipping from this way.
Yeah, and so what we're about to see is Malmo is going to do a clip
Oh, she's gonna citrus clip this. This one involves a lot of precision. This requires like a lot of precision to do with a lot of precision. And you're basically clipping in, and there you go. You got it. Very nicely done from Malmo. You only are allowed to do the citrus clip on the left diagonals, not right diagonals. It's a glitch that it's a clip that I cannot do straight up. I have so much trouble trying to set it up.
Yeah, meanwhile, what Malmo is showing off here might take a couple attempts is you can see she's now in Tower of Hera, and she's going to use a bomb to push herself into the wall. And then from here, she's going to teleport to yet another different dungeon, which you might recognize as Swamp. And so the reason you need the key already is because she just flooded a key.
Yeah, and that's why, and that's exactly the reason why. So we have to. So of course we have to, climb over, like walk over here, and of course because we're doing it this way, we're going to have to do a diver down this way. If you've seen the Halloween, if you've seen last year's Halloween festive, you would know that this got quote unquote patched out because there was an extra rail that was added into the into that to prevent any prevent anyone from doing a diver down. And this is exactly the reason why that was the case.
Yeah, but the reason she's going back here is she's going back to oh, I was thinking she was going back to check some chests, but
she doesn't have the dam state fixed. Doesn't have the dam state yet. She has to pull the dam and then save quit again.
Okay, yes. Okay, so she was just unlocking the front of Swap. Thank you, otherTom.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason why. Now, if she did have this state, she did have like if she did in this case, if she did preserve the dam state, she would be able to get through. But in this case, we have to save quit, and of course, she's gonna flood the gate, save quit, do this all over again. I think instead of that, we're actually going to see it going from Hera instead of Swamp, from all the way down to Meyer.
Yeah, and it looks like that's exactly where she's going, is Hera.
Yeah, it's quicker. It's quicker to do this than just go all the way back to Meyer and do it all over again. You just Hera pot and just get down to where you need to go. Yeah, and do the same Hera to Swamp clip. And then you'll just be right there. Make sure you leave the swamp before the entrance to put you into fake dark world, then bring you back up to bring you back over to Swamp, actually, to make sure that the state of the dungeon is at Swamp, not Hera.
Yeah, and Spleeby pointing out in chat that you can't actually preserve the dam state going from Meyer, because the reason the dam state can be preserved is because you don't take any screen transitions. So
okay,
very helpful. Thank you.
All right, yeah, okay. I'm still I just knew about it vaguely. Didn't know if there was actually any implication if there was any implications about it. Like if there was any like trade-offs from it. Like I knew that you could preserve the dam state, but I didn't. But that's all I really knew about. I didn't know like everything else relating to it. Like you can't go to Meyer, you gotta go to Hera.
Right. Yeah, and the reason she wanted to do that is because she wanted to get outside and then back in to basically reload the dungeon so it's recognized where she actually is.
Right, yeah, because I think also too. Not really. And actually, no, that doesn't really mean anything. I was thinking, oh wait, you could just you would still be in fake Dark Worlds because you're in the Dark World, but that doesn't make any sense anyway. But as otherTom was pointing out, we actually got to saw Hera swamp in all the 3 states that could possibly be: Mire State, Hera State, and then of course Swamp State.
Absolutely. And here we're going to see the diver down minor glitch, which of course is something that we see quite a bit in even normal no major glitches rando races. You sort of set the cane down, you clip into the rail there, and then you can open these chests.
The book's cute. That book is cute. But yeah, you can also do it with bombs too. It's like you're pretty much guaranteed if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Krelbel here is moving the wall, probably setting up for the other form of this clip, not the citrus clip we saw from Malmo, but a different way. Yep, where he will use a bomb and basically dash in and get blown into the wall, just like that.
Yeah, that's the one that most people would know about. Citrus clipping is like something that I can't do. I don't think Krelbel can do it, but still very very nicely done from Malmo showing the citrus clip.
Yeah, and to answer a question in chat, the sword that Malmo missed, that's the difference between what they've got, is it was in King's Tomb, which at this point it's hard to imagine Malmo going out of her way to pick that up.
No, and like I said, King's Tomb is literally the Agina's Cave of glitched modes, because you can get there through clips, but it's kind of like, but it's also very like you have to do it in a very specific. You got to do pretty much go out of your way to get it very early. Swamp's cleared for Malmo because that was an Argus kill. Gets the green pendant. And we'll soon be on the way over to Eastern. Probably going to go to Pod first, get that cleared out, and then just Desert, Eastern, and then we'll be out to the races. Get the pad pole, obviously, and then we're going to kill Kanan.
Yeah, so Krelbel does have a little bit of a lead here since he's already done both Pod and Eastern. After this, he just has to go straight to the backside of Desert.
Yeah. Curious if Krelbel is not aware that he can't do flippers in this. Probably just realizing now. Yes, it's just a save quit. Yeah, so you have you have to pull the dam and preserve the dam state by going to Hera.
Yeah, and I do like the decision here for Malmo to do Desert first, because there is the chance, not a fantastic chance, but the chance that you could find Mir or another sword here on Landmos that could make your 2 more dungeons that you have to do easier.
So, Krelbel went over to the bomb shop and got went over to get some bombs. I believe. Oh, I think I know. I think it's so that Krelbel can. Oh, I don't know actually. It's an interesting decision for Krelbel. I believe he may just be going over to Desert first. Yeah, this is Desert first. I guess it makes sense. Saving Swamp for last. It's quick. But as Cinaeth was pointing out, as we are about to, as we're approaching at the end of the game here, I want to give a special shout out to our runners, the stars of this Grudge Match, Malmo and Krelbel. They've been doing an amazing job showing off some of the most mind-boggling and crazy glitches that you may not that people may not expect. Like you may be all like everyone's all focused on no glitches, but here is actually this takes the game to an extreme level. They're doing an amazing job. Of course, I'm Professor Render. My co-com is Arusta. Tracker is otherTom, and Restreamer is our very own Cinaeth. Make sure you give us a follow as well. We've been doing an amazing job putting this all together. And of course, join the Goma Podcast Discord. If you find this interesting and you want to learn about glitch modes, by all means, feel free to join us. We have a dedicated channel for it too, and we talk all things glitches. And we also have our dedicated we also have multi-worlds. We have our overall glitches weekly that happens every Wednesday, and we also have the HMGs. I think that happens on Sunday. And yeah, definitely want to stick around for this. Stick around if you think you're very interesting. Also, as otherTom's pointing out, we did not see a single bottle. It's a good thing to point out. We have not seen a single bottle.
Yep, and so as Krelbel is setting up the glitch into Hera, and then presumably going to go over to Swamp, just like we saw from Malmo a couple minutes ago. Malmo, of course, is go-moding Eastern, but then still has Pod to finish as well. So Krelbel does have a bit of a lead here, but well within the range that if he struggles a little bit on Ganon could definitely tie things up.
Oh, for sure. So, so Krelbel will go over to Swamp here. I can safely say here that, well, of course, Krelbel has to pull the pad, so I'll have to make that quick detour, because that is something that we've agreed on. The two have agreed on. But I can pretty much say that Krelbel is definitely in the lead here.
Yeah, because Krelbel's trip through Swamp is going to be much quicker than Malmo having to go over to Pod and then getting inside it.
All right, Malmo has the final medallion. Well, first, we'll have to go over to Pod next.
Yeah, and in case you joined us late, she did dip it earlier, so she already has the big key and all the keys she needs, but does need to go over there. So that's gonna take some time, and Krelbel basically is almost certainly going to be done with Swamp before Malmo is done with Pod.
So, okay, I see what she's doing. She's gonna do Geeky Escape here. That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, because Pod is kind of off on its own, and this is definitely the easiest way to get there. Though she will need to remember to walk out and then walk back in.
But she probably knows how to do this anyway, because these are the two best runners that we have on display here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These are two excellent runners. I believe the race that actually triggered this Grudge Match call-out / rematch was they finished second and third in a Hybrid Major Glitches race. So yes, they are definitely two of the top runners of this mode.
Yeah, I think it was actually one of the weeklies, not the dailies. It is one of the weeklies. Yeah, it was the weeklies.
Oh yeah, thank you for correcting me on that.
But this is actually surprisingly close now. All that Malmo really has to do is she's got to execute really, really well and run really, really fast. Because Krelbel is right over to Argus pretty soon. And Krelbel's fight to be a lot better. And in her case, and actually in Krelbel's case, he does have sword advantage. So this is actually something to play a key factor here. So
yeah, and at this point, the only thing that might have a sword that would close this up is potentially Ped.
if it is on Ped, then it's actually interesting because the silvers, the gold sword versus tempered is actually very negligible. Gold sword on the Ganon fight is literally just you have six hits per phase.
Yeah, it can make your phase one a little quicker if you're not shorter if you're not good at the 1+1, but beyond that, like it doesn't make much of a difference.
But that is every single crystal picked up, and Krelbel is actually aware that he was in fake dark world, so he's just gonna flute over to 3 here and pull the pad. This because of the way that because of the fact that he knows that because he went into the swamp from Hera and he triggered fake dark world. He wasn't still in fake dark world. All he really needed to do was make a screen transition and then just flute away.
Yep, and just for comparison, we'll track when exactly Krelbel pulls the ped. Looks probably he's going to be about 30 seconds ahead or something along those lines. So he pulled it at pretty much 1:32:30.
Yeah, pretty much. And just bombs. Pretty generic ped as it usually is, but we have to pull it as anyway. Does not matter what happens. We have to pull it. We're going to be heading to Ganon pretty soon now. And because both runners had went to GT first, like pretty early in the game, all they really got to do is just assume that they're playing fast Ganon and then just go to Flute 5 and then just get the heck out and head over to Ganon. Now, what could be the deciding factor is if Krelbel falls. Because Malmo has to do Master Sword Silver's fight, she's got 28 spins ahead of her. And then just the rest of the spins will be 28 spins and 4 silver arrows. Whereas Krelbel would have to fall, I believe, like once or twice for it to be close.
Yeah, and just time comparison, Malmo started her pull at about 1:33:40. She's about a minute and 10 seconds behind.
Yeah, so basically a phase 4 fall, if anything. Or is any fall in this case. That would put them pretty close by. But again, with the tempered sword advantage that Krelbel has, I don't see if something really bad happens to Krelbel, she would still have to deal with the 28 spins regardless. Whereas Krelbel could just do slashes and be on our merry way.
Yeah, and also just worth noting that Krelbel does have red mail, so even though he's down to 3.5 hearts, he can still take one more hit here. He's not in OHKO mode.
Yeah. He at least, I think, afford a Ganon hug in this case. I think he will still go down from a Ganon hug. Ooh. No torch glitch, but it doesn't really matter. Because we have silvers. And this is kind of scary too, because we don't have any potions. So, like, we don't have a single bottle, period. A fall would be really catastrophic. But a double will get the job done. Get your GGs in the chat for Krelbel. and he will come out victorious in this grudge match.
Yeah, and we'll see if Krelbel's interested in doing an interview. Since Malmo's on Ganon, we might let her finish up her Ganon fight first before we actually start the interview.
Yeah, Krelbel's final time on restream.gg officially was 1:35:35. Very respectable time. And it just hammers home that, again, sword advantage was literally the deciding factor with this Steve. Not just but if Krelbel were to fall, if Krelbel were to take a dapper fall, then this race would have been really close, because Malmo would have been able to make up a lot of time in this case. Malmo's going to play it safe, get Torch Glitch. Torch Glitch just really doesn't matter in this case, but it has to happen anyway. But especially if you're doing Silver's fight, then it's not the worst. If you're doing the Master Sword Silver's fight, it's to have on hand.
Yeah, I mean, it does make it a little nicer. And get your GGs in for Malmo.
Yeah, that will do it. A complete Master Sword Silver's fight. Very nicely done for Malmo. Give a hand to give a round of applause to both of those of our runners. She will be finishing second with a official race time of 1:37:31. So just under 2 minutes apart. Again, goes to show how close this race really was. And we're joined by Krelbel and Malmo. GG's.
Thanks. What a good seed. I'm so happy.
Oh, and of course it was close. It's always close.
It's always close. This is why we do these.
Oh man, that was. I love that seed. And,
oh man,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy it was close.
This is such a stark contrast to the seed that we ran last night.
Yes.
That basically didn't make you do any glitches. Put Moon Pearl in this vanilla location, forcing you to spend the small cube era. This one didn't give you one, so you had to be creative. I'm hoping that you did the castle thing where you steal a guard key.
No, I don't like doing that without mirror.
I see.
Especially when I got early red mail, which.
Oh, you got red mail. So
yeah.
I was so mad about that because first of all, I opened the seed with a soft lock.
Oh no!
Just so you know, I never soft lock there, but I did an up teleport instead of a down to do the Highly Island clip, and then I went back for the blue mail, and then there's a stupid mail upgrade just sitting in the Lost Woods, just like last time.
Yeah, I was I was going back and forth on picking it up, but I did pick it up.
Oh, I had blue mail. I said, hell no, I don't want that. I don't like red mail without mirror. That's just asking for trouble. I did die to Cinaeth though, so maybe I would have saved time if I hadn't. I think our time difference was my death to Cinaeth.
Yeah, that may have been it.
I have not been practicing with Master Sword because I've been practicing the speedrun. So like I can do Hammer Helma, that's easy, but don't ask me to do Hammer Cinaeth.
So I assume the sword that I got that you didn't was King's Tomb?
I didn't do King's Tomb. Yeah, so my first dungeon was Ganon's Tower, like you do.
Oh, so you went for you went into Ganon's Tower with, I assume. Okay, so Ganon's Tower was fully in logic for me when I had 6 hearts and no bottles and Master Sword.
I had the same. I found. I wasn't going to climb until I found, I think half magic was what kind of pushed me over the edge. Because that allowed me to not have to manage my magic on the climb. Oh, Sick Kid had the mirror. Where was the bottle? I didn't find any bottles.
Nobody found any bottles, so we have no idea.
There wasn't anything. There wasn't.
Oh, man.
Really glad that we got to show off why you don't need the mirror in this mode.
Yes, me too. That was delightful.
So I did do the intended route from mire to swamp, which actually is really good because people can see doing things like Hera to swamp and think that's what you're supposed to do. So this will show off that, like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. Hera to swamp is just a shortcut.
Yeah. Now, did you do? I was racking my brain trying to figure out which route I wanted to do for Mirrorless Swamp in the seed, and what I ended up doing was mire to swamp just to open up the door, and then save and quit. Yeah, save and quit, and then flood the dam, save and quit to Hera to swamp, and do it that way. Was there a faster way to do that didn't occur to me?
No, I think it's just the guard key. Like, that was your only other option.
Yeah.
Without the mirror and without the Hera small being available.
Yeah, and I never had any good reason to go and do escape.
I was a little disappointed that Mire was it was a god Mire, so I did Vidi. But Vidi didn't drop a key, so I had to get one for Swamp, which was all the way in the map chest.
Map chest. I got to skip that. I'm trying to remember why.
The map chest is the one that's not locked by blue pegs near the spike room. Did you do the big chest instead? Like, you could do the big chest.
No, I didn't do either of those. So what I did was I went into Mire. I opened up the first chest for a small key and the second chest for the big key, and then I had two smalls and the big key. But I was right in that door with the key door in it, and so I said, okay. And I kind of did a little twirl in there as I was making up my mind.
You didn't open that door.
Yeah, I didn't open that door.
Oh, I should have done that too. I didn't think about it. I was just really banking on Vidi dropping a key. And I thought, oh, there isn't one here. I'll just find one in a chest. But it put a map in the lobby chest and made me go all the way around.
Well, I was trying to remember key counts because there's one,
3.
two. Oh yeah, so you do need. Yeah, you do need to pulling that off did require stealing a key, because I did when I did that play. I thought that I would end up with an extra key in Swamp, but I didn't, and that caught me by surprise. So I guess it was good that I did that.
So I did Mire Citrus, which I think saves time over
moving nice.
The wall, because there can't be a key there because the big key wasn't there. So I didn't open that chest.
Yeah, I
did
the cutscene. Yeah, I did the cutscene just for just because I haven't practiced that citrus in a while. I'm glad you got to show it off though. That's
if anybody
cool.
doesn't know why I was doing the 1-frame clip there, the bomb clip doesn't actually work unless you've moved the wall in that room. The wall just kind of messes with the collision of that diagonal that you normally bomb clip through.
Yeah, we had actually had a couple people in chat explain that a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you need to move the wall, or else the collision will be a little off. So
it's often not know, like, people who are learning this mode will not know that, because they'll go into the tutorials, which are all for the speedrun. And the speedrun, you move the wall to get the big key, and then you loop around and do that again. And they don't mention that you need to move the wall because they just assume you've done it. So it's really common for people to not know that. They'll wonder why they're failing over and over again until somebody figures out that they never moved the wall.
Okay, so since you mentioned learning this mode, would you mind talking a little bit about, ways for people, since I think this might be the first time some people have seen this mode, ways that people can get involved in this? Yeah,
okay, so there's a couple places you can go. Let me go into your chat actually and put some links in there. There's a glitch training channel in the main Discord. The Go Mode Podcast Discord has a channel for glitch modes as well, and it's full of people who are in the mentor tournament, and they all know all about how to teach and learn glitches. But there's also the tournament Discord, which currently is unpopulated, but it's going to open up around, I would say, like early June. I think people are going to start to trickle in because the tournament's going to start. And there's a bunch of channels in there that are left over from the last tournament that are full of resources.
Yeah, and learning, the biggest learning curve for getting into this mode is definitely overworld glitches. Like learning overworld glitches, I want to say it. If you have a mentor like showing you the ropes, which there are tons of people happy to show you anytime. really just pop in and say, "Hey, this looks fun. I'd like to learn this," and someone will like be probably be available to offer you just a training session of. Oh my gosh, we had identical collection rates.
Wow, the main difference was really just like my death to Cinaeth and little
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
walking at the beginning. I feel like I'm just within. I'm so close to beating you. One of these days, I'll beat you in a seed that doesn't completely destroy you, because sometimes you just get randoed. But
yeah, you've beat me plenty of times. You have more race time points than I do in this category.
That's not for beating you. That's for beating checks. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah, we go back and forth a lot.
I get like 150 elo because he's a complete monster, and sometimes he gets randoed too.
Yeah. But as I was saying, yeah, people are available all the time to help out. Overworld glitches, I want to say it takes maybe like a good solid like 3-4 hours. Kind of splitting it up in multiple sessions is a good way to approach that. And then once you're familiar with that, learning everything you need to learn to play hybrid major glitches is less than an hour, really. And then you get to experience all the fun you saw in today's seed with clipping between dungeons and completing Swamp without mirror and and all that fun stuff.
I even did the overworld bomb clip that you do to get to the mirrorless TR clip.
Overworld bomb clip.
Yeah, well, let's.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit faster to clip up, and then, of course, I was a little bit accosted by the Lionel because I had Master Sword and couldn't kill him easily.
Oh,
so
yeah.
what I did is I just held my mirror shield out the whole time I was clipping.
Yeah, I meant to do that. I forgot. But yeah, I still need to learn that one.
It's pretty easy. You just have to learn the pixel. There's 3 pixels that work. It's actually really easy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you got to show that off. That's cool. And I assume you did just TR back to front standard, like you didn't open the front for the big key, because you would have lost time doing it that way on the seed.
No way, no, I wouldn't do that without mirror anyway.
Right. Oh yeah, that would be awful.
So what was I gonna say? Kiki skip. Yeah, actually, I was worried I wasn't gonna get to do Kiki skip because I did catfish into pod, but then I found go mode in the dark maze and had like a million hearts and didn't want to death warp, and it's like, well, this is the chance to show off Kiki skip, because I could do that or I could death warp, and nobody wants to watch me take damage from Gadongos when they could be watching me do a glitch, right?
Oh, nice. So you saved and quit and then did Kiki skip to get back in?
Yeah, I actually did it as my last dungeon before pulling Ped. I felt like for style points I had to pull Ped right before Ganon, so I did that and then pulled Ped and then did Ganon.
Oh, you did. So you put. Wait. Pod had the Meyer medallion, didn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't on Helmasaur. Like, I got that, I was in go mode, and I was like, well, I'll just do Helmasaur last. I might get the lamp, or I think I had the lamp actually, but it doesn't matter when you do it. You just do it when you're done.
Yeah. I really like this format. Like, I think this is a really good way to play this mode.
The pendants and crystals. Ooh.
No, specifically specifically Crystal Boss's Ped. I think this really has some promise. Like, you really get to experience the all there is to offer in this mode, and just the amount of fun I had in today's race compared to yesterday's was just like, I thought this was great.
I wonder if we can convince Cinaeth to add it to the customizer, and then we can make it as a sort of. It's really, really suited to exhibition races, so it doesn't really belong in the main rando. Like, nobody uses that anyway before they use the Sahabot, but having it in the customizer allows you to create JSON files to make your own preset, and if it's popular enough, Cinaeth adds it to the bot like he did with this one.
Yeah, I wonder if that would need some more coding work, because I think like that there's Ped goal and then there's everything else, and I don't think there's hybrid goals.
hybrid major glitches. What is this? Hybrid all dungeons major glitches. Like,
it's fitting. It's fitting. But
Makes it sound like you're doing half the speed run, half the rando, right? I had a couple moments of it was really menuing that got me, because I got speedrun menuing muscle memory, and I was just fumbling my menu half the time whenever I was doing something that was in the speedrun. EDHMG, yes.
Arusta and Render, thank you guys so much for calming. Was there were there any moments in either of our runs that we haven't mentioned so far that were memorable?
I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing I think is that you both started with fairly similar routes, but then especially once you both got Dark World access, you guys completely diverged, but still ended up finishing within 2 minutes of each other, which is just, very impressive, very interesting. Did pretty much all the dungeons in different order, all that.
Yeah, that's always fun. I love races where either the runners are in lockstep the whole time and it's it's just like an execution race, or they split up completely and meet at Ganon.
Yeah, when I saw the Dark World open up, when I saw Ganon's Tower open up and I had 6 hearts, I thought I was kind of metagaming there a little bit. I thought two things. One, I'm pretty sure if I go to Ganon's Tower with this kit, I will probably die and lose a bunch of time. And also, I think Malmo might be tempted into going into Ganon's Tower and potentially dying, and I could make up some time on it that way.
I actually had a really good gauntlet, considering things just went right for me.
Yeah, well, there was a bunch of good stuff to help Gauntlet in GT itself, right? I think there was like half magic and a sword upgrade.
Yeah, the sword I think is actually the thing that the sword and half magic.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to go up without those. Just period. No way. You come back to those, I lose time over just doing the clip again.
Yeah. But yeah, fun seed, really fun seed, fun race.
Yeah, so if either of you guys have any last thoughts?
No, just thank you so much, and thanks to Cinaeth for restreaming. Thanks to everyone for watching. This is my personal favorite mode to race nowadays, and I'm doing a bunch of these and really excited for the tourney.
Agreed. This renewed my interest in the speedrun too, and just rando in general. Like, I've never felt like I wanted to get good until now.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure calming your race. My name is Arusta. My co-commentator is Professor Renderer. Thank you, otherTom, for doing the tracking, Cinaeth for doing our restreaming. This has been the Go Mode podcast. We have our next planned stream is, I believe, next Saturday at about the same time in the evening for the bi-weekly seed. That is still to be finalized, the exact time, but keep an eye on the Go Mode podcast Discord, and thank you everyone for watching.
Take it easy, everybody.